Good morning. That is my Monday morning singing voice. Well, for those who do know me, I am vocally challenged. I can't say that I can't. I do not know how to sing, but I'm just vocally and musically and harmonically challenged.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting.
welcome, welcome to Monday with the Moors. I am Terrence Moore,
I am sure more.
and the
Hmm.
reason for the delay
Oh, wow.
is not because of her. It will leave it at that. Good morning, Kashanda. How's it going? How's it going? It's great to see you in the morning. So we are, as always, excited about.
Do you see how he did that? Let's talk about that. You say good morning to the person, then I don't say good morning. You just keep it moving.
Because she did. I gave her room as a partner. I when there's always room for the for there's always space for the other partner, and when that space is not filled, then it's like, well, it is time to continue.
All
So,
right. Come on with the ego. Let the ego speak.
well, because my partner didn't speak, so I wouldn't say ego. It is partnership.
Was
This
this
is how we
space for me to
cover.
speak?
This is how we cover and we continue.
Okay.
I tried.
Okay. And you failed. Yes. Well, good morning. And as you all can see, whether you watch the now or the replay, I am still doing these live.
And see, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything.
You're talking and I'm talking. This is supposed to be.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
You are talking while I'm talking, and this is supposed to be a podcast. I said record it. I think his entire effort here is to make me a liar.
I didn't do that.
That will fail epically. Okay, that's going to be an epic fail. So
sounds like success to me.
Let's just get with welcome. We've already done.
Now, wait a minute. That's ego. That's ego.
Welcome for me, right? Because my partner, who lays the root cause for our delay.
Only today.
And let us not deflect. Let's talk about that deflection in relationship. I think I want to change the subject because I feel like
it's a second week in a row.
Right. It's and the Lord is magical like that. He's just a God of God. All right. So listen.
This is an episode of convenience now.
It's an episode that we learn to pivot in life and in partnerships.
Okay.
Well, this is truly with us, and we are making our footprints and establishing them as we do. Let us not deflect. Come on with it. In terms of how we really look at partnerships. Okay. And in that, we really I think he just hit your comment, K-Tree.
Really?
See how that thing work people out?
Oh my God.
You know, when you call out, and that truly does happen. On the serious note of that too, I think this is a good point to talk about that pivoting point in partnerships, whether it's in marriage, in work relationships, friendships, whatever formation of how you're relating to people. Partnership is like that highest point, right? So we are doing our best to get back on track with how we really want to not call it relational, but call it partnering, because it is very powerful. There's a different power dimension that comes when you are partnering. And that means there's been some due diligence and some work in there. Mm-hmm. Now, you can sit there and probably say, oh, where I'm going to read that. You're reading it from lived experiences. And
that's true.
I'll say that we decided to do partnerships because it's through lived experiences. We can't textbook everything. We can reference, but the textbook is not our roadmap. I think in my years of being in higher education, I really came to that understanding and how we have been taught and educated and groomed to discount lived experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what really brings you into a PowerPoint with partnership. It's those lived experiences that help us not to be so sensitive about what has occurred in life that really has made me who I am in this moment, right? Because that's the power of what I bring to the table. That's the power of what I bring to the partnership.
Right.
And the one big idea is the fact that your lived experiences are supposed to be, you're supposed to be healed from that. The healing is...
I mean, but does it really mean healing?
No, but healing in that doesn't mean that I forgot about it, right? It doesn't mean that I discount it, but the healing takes me to higher dimensions. It's in higher altitude that leads to partnering, where I'm not bringing it as a problem. I'm bringing it as a part of my purpose of who I am. True. So that's to me what we really unravel and untaught, and that I feel that me personally, I had to unlearn that. Like, I'm not talking about other people's lives. We're on here. Monday with the Moors is about our life, right? We can use example on how our relationship with other people have impacted who we are. But outside of our titles, our jobs, this is, not intentional to be, in a different platform of one siloed system of ministry, but this is our life. This is our journey, right? And ministry and everything else is a part of who we are, but it doesn't mean it as a part of someone else. And I think that's the beauty of it. And things that we learned even when we were formerly pastoring a church here. You can make people feel great, but but you have to trust the truth.
Ooh, that's good. That's a whole different animal.
And that truth can unravel, like really kind of combing through it, weaving it, braiding it. You have to trust the truth. And
trust somebody else with the truth.
Now
that's a whole different one right there. That's a whole different animal.
I don't know if I'm going to disagree with that. And you can do that to say, I don't know if it's a different animal, but it is a part of that process. So I think it has something to do with it. Me personally, that's me. That's my point. And then again, another part of partnering as we kind of journey through this. And you have to trust yourself with the truth first. And that's really hard to do depending on where you're at, right? Depending on where you're at, I can't come to partner or external relationships and partnerships and how I connect, engage with people unless I trust myself with the truth. And I feel like I'm over.
No, why don't you think we can trust ourselves with the truth?
Oh, that's a really good question, hon. Okay, so trusting yourself with the
truth. That's kind of loaded too.
It is loaded. Okay, you put me on the spot. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Hold me accountable for my words, because we don't want this to be real surfacey conversations. So trusting myself with the truth means that I have come to a place, maybe not everything in my life, but whatever I'm dealing with, to give regard. I've taken the shadow and the scales off of that I can trust myself to that truth without degrading myself, without belittling myself, without allowing that to take me through. And can I give an example? I'm gonna give an example. I will. That is still full. That is still full too. And I'm not going to use Terry. I'm going to use me personally, because partnership is.
She's not going to use me as an example.
Not this time with that ugly sweater.
Any man that is watching this,
don't shift the conversation. The people is listening. All right, they need
put a one in.
I need it
in the men.
Oh Lord! All right,
the mid category.
So in this, trusting myself with the truth means that I am just not facing myself, but I'm not going to allow it lesser when I own that. And there was a point because, and this is, I'll use this because it's recent too.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It is. And it's very serious. We're not going to finish this today because you already know the depth when I talk about finances.
And I'm not involved.
So I'll talk about finances and education, two really strong areas of struggle for me. Well, people were like, what? Well, yeah. And those became very powerful strengths in my life. But I had to trust myself with the truth of where I was not very strong. So
Mhm.
I was walking out my weaknesses, if I could say it like that, because this is me. And I had to trust myself and I had to get there where honestly, I had made so many mistakes when I was in college, when even in our marriage with impulsive spending, shopping, and it wasn't like to be in the limelight, it was just unsettled things in myself. But I had to get to a point to trust the truth that Cheryl, but then I knew I was called to do great things and move things that required financial discipline, management, and management.
Okay, but okay, you have 3 degrees and
Yeah.
certifications, buku years of experience, super spiritual. Oh Jesus, just crazy off the
Right.
chart. And you're saying that trusting yourself with the truth about finances didn't really have anything to do with so much of how educated or advanced you were.
No.
These things had to do with past. These things had to do with personal.
I think it had
It didn't have how
it had to
yeah.
do with lived experiences
Right.
of that turn. Listen, your lived experiences can turn into your daily fear. So because
Man, your
I have
lived experiences could
turn into daily fear,
man.
right? That meant that I avoided it, right? Avoided it. I would search for opportunities that did not require financial responsibility, management, budgetary management, or anything when there was another side of it where my strengths, yes, I relied on it, but I had to trust myself with the truth that this is just not a financial thing. This is managing managing me. Like this is a management issue. This is not it's not just financial. And I had to trust myself with that. Like for years, I would be on Weight Watchers over and over and over and over again and fail at it, but I would be feeling called right back to it, understanding that now it works amazingly well for me. I would amazingly not work out. Either I'm working out and I'm not eating right. Now I'm in a place where there's a balance, but I had to face the truth that I've got a fear here. There's something inside of Cheryl that says it's a management where my finances, all of those were a part of that fear of being responsible and knowing that I was worth the responsibility. I'm worthy of being responsible. I'm worthy of that. It was a worth issue. So the impulsive decisions and behaviors and on the moment and helping everybody else without focusing in on me.
That's deflection.
That's deflection on a listen. And it's daily deflection, right? It became I'm not a hunter, but I became on the hunt for whatever I thought externally would heal me instead of dealing with what internally I was empty, but I'm looking externally to be filled.
Okay, so and I'm gonna have to go back to this
because somebody put in there if you're looking at this later or now, if that's wordy. Does that make sense?
No, but I think what you are saying, I think is so important, and I think sometimes people draw these assumptions about what they see, and they're thinking that wow. And I'm gonna continue with the example of you, and I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. All the education, how spiritual you are, and a giant you are. Excuse me. And phenomenal wife, extraordinary mother.
I'm a giant. What does that mean?
Well, I'm gonna get okay. I'll be happy to get there.
All right, because sleep safe, buddy. Sleep safe.
Yeah, because be mindful of how I say things. Well, am I in danger of sleeping on my stomach only for safety purposes? But there's this very quiet giant that in presence that you have, and that how active you are, academically, professionally, and is just an extraordinary human being. And we sometimes get this picture in the mind of what a person is, and we have these preconceived ideas about people. But now you're saying, you know what? The truth I had to face about myself is I had certain fears.
Yeah.
And those fears were really tied to my destiny, my calling, my purpose, of the why in me.
Right.
And those fears creep up to often hinder the walk, or hinder hinder you from facing the truth of you.
Yeah.
And as long as if you're fearing facing the truth of you, purpose is jeopardized. Destiny can be hindered or affected, because facing the truth of you is really important in moving forward.
Right. And I think you're using some really big words that have to be unpacked. So we'll have to go look at the slide that we're flowing in and really talk about purpose, destiny.
No, I'm just touching on that part.
I'm just saying that. Yeah. But I think the responsibility means that I didn't feel good enough about myself to be responsible for me. And that became not just managing me, but helping others, right?
Right.
Being there for other people was my value, or, in my journey, it became about a mantra established later in life. And I hope this helps others not do this earlier, where you are, that you're not over 50 and realizing, my daily mantra is, I am important. We can serve so much until it becomes self-sabotage.
Yeah, we lower ourselves.
And we believe that that's how we're going to be enriched and that we're going to be blessed. But I'm not the caretaker of myself, right? I'm on the aircraft. It says, put the mask on yourself first and then help others. Because if I'm weak and dying, I shouldn't be imparting or serving others. But I was, I want to call it ministry manipulation. I want to call it my manipulation. And then, unraveling that.
You brought the M word in this.
I am bringing anything in here. This is our live. I'm going to say anything I want to say.
Oh, boy.
So, and nobody call me, text me, email, or talk to me or whatever about anything I'm saying.
You can call and text me, because you know what you're going to get in return.
Because it's my freedom, my liberation, and it's my lived experiences. That coming into freedom to move forward is a journey. And I am now at the place where I'm partnering with like-minded, conscious-minded, relevant people that look like me, walk like me, work with me, journey with me, live life in my life space. And it didn't have to be people that they don't need me. And I had a bad diagnostic journey of codependence. And I actually think most people do, because of childhood journey. You're given assignments as a child to clean your room, clean the bathroom, cook, these things, these fundamentals that teach us how to live, that we don't depart from them. When we're older, we understand being responsible and taking care of ourselves and being responsible for our space. But it turned into a challenge for me. It turned into a tribulation of others before me. And it's the principle that we've gotten really reversed. We mean us working through the reversal of that when we look at how we walk out our life now. And that's why we couldn't get to partnership. Because we were too busy managing and partnering. We were partnering with people instead of in people's problems and not ourselves.
And that,
if you don't like how I live, you don't like how, I'm not telling you to be lawless. That's
too much outwardly focused. I was just saying something that, especially to have to do with our men's group gathering, saying, there's nothing wrong with being selfish. Selfish is not selfish.
And I'll say this:
selfish is actually selfless,
right? I think after we sunset our church and we were going to classes and meditation and working ourselves and really expanding our awareness, our spiritual consciousness, and bringing that in the fore, somebody said to us in our area, Now, I can speak in tongues. I can dance. I was cutting up dancing this weekend virtually at Convocation. Let me tell you what somebody said.
Mm.
That nobody lays hands on me. It was no oil, nothing. But let me tell you how it empowered me to be me.
Yeah.
I was broken before we went into meditation, and this white woman turns to me and says, Cheryl, it's okay to serve yourself. Nobody has to get with me. But if you are lying, you can serve yourself. It is okay to serve yourself.
That is so selfless and selfish. Now, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's that's selfless. That's so empowering to me. That it is okay to serve myself. It's okay to take care of myself. It's okay for me to, I cry a lot. It's okay for me to be me was the most empowering thing that set my feet free.
All right. Okay. We have this. I know we're coming to the end, but it's okay to be me. And, I'll say this for myself briefly. I have no problem with being me. And sometimes that could be a problem, but I have no problem with being me. And sometimes that can be offensive to others because I'm real. I am authentic. What you see is what you get. And those who pretend or believe that they have to be like to be liked, they have to they have to change their personality. One of the things in ministry, oh my gosh, I this is just a personal Terrence thing. I hate when people are like, hey, Doc, what's going on, man? That is just those things, because somehow that nickname or that terminology brings this almost this ego type thing and this bravado that, it's elevated. And it's like, dude, it's like, or lady, like, calm down. It's not all about that. Why don't you just be real? And I recognize that some people pretend that way because they just don't know who they are. They don't know how to be authentically them.
Can I say something?
Yeah, babe.
No, I don't want
to. They don't know that they're not comfortable in their own skin till they feel that in order to be accepted and in order to fit in. Yeah. And this happens so much in ministry and in corporate. It goes straight across the board, even among relationship and friendships and acquaintances. That, if this person has a certain type of personality and people like them, they're drawn, then someone else thinks that, oh, I have to be like that. No, bring you to the table. Yeah. Ooh, bring you to the crowd. Bring you to the workplace. Bring you to the ministry. Bring all of you, your authenticity. Yeah. And that will help you so much of facing the truth of you.
I love it.
You will you won't walk in fear, because you face the truth of you. God made you. He didn't make you to be a clone. This is not a Star Wars thing where the Clone Wars and this and the Kevin Owens making clones. It's nothing. It's not like that. Right. And that is something that we have to be very comfortable in. There's nothing wrong with being different because God made you that way. Yeah. Once you face the truth of you, which incorporates a lot of your fears, a lot of your insecurities, you are going to feel so great about yourself, and you're not going to really care about what people think about you when you are authentically you.
I love the authenticity part, and I am on an authenticity journey, and it is a journey. And in that journey of partnering, I had to stop partnering and collaborating and connecting with people's problems. And one of the things is I felt underserved. I felt overlooked, neglected. The other thing is I got tired of people critiquing me. I got tired of being critiqued.
What do you mean by that? Who critiquing you?
I didn't ask you for your opinion on what I'm wearing, how I'm dressing, giving me compliments sometimes felt like they were critiquing me. Like it was a critique, whether it was okay for me to do this, okay for me to be this.
Right.
It was external control, but I had no internal regulation of myself to understand my truth and facing the truth of who I am. And I feel like in that we are coming then into conditioning to like you kind of like become that chameleon for other people. We do flex. I do shift as necessary.
Right.
Sometimes I do hold back not to offend. But what I really had to learn is
you
to
hold back
step,
not to offend.
if you can, and I'll tell you why.
Okay. But finish your thought.
Offense turns into a defense at point, right? I ain't gonna get into all this stuff. Hi, Josh. I'm not gonna get into all of this because Josh is in football and nobody's fixing to get me, right? But let me tell you this. Hiding the whole me, I stop hiding. But I am very responsible for what I share and how I show up to preserve the quality of who I am.
Wow.
It became into quality assurance. When people, external voices and intake, oh, I know you. Do you? Especially if I don't hardly see you, I don't live with you, and I don't see you. How do you know me? Right? Knowledge is through engagement. That tells me you have a different version of me in your mind, and that's not my truth. Right. So I had to trust that when people, you're just not the same, you're changed, or maybe that's different. Well, what's wrong with that? Because I don't fit that framework that you put me in. That was your experience. And again, but this is my journey. And I had to get those control authorities that were superficial in my head, in my head, superficial expectations. So if I don't do what you say and I don't show up how you think I should show up, are you going to kill me? Issue. You're going to call me. What can you really do to me? So that freed me. And it liberated me not to become a wild out, to become lawless, to get myself in trouble, to do whatever I felt. But the expression of what was internal showed up. And then I can show up different from my partner. I showed up empowered. I showed up not needy. I showed up not putting this. It's this whole vast reasoning where I had to trust myself with these truths first before I put that responsibility on Terrence. Whoa.
That's a whole different thing. That's a
good point to end our podcast. But that's why I say trust myself with the truth. And then the vulnerability in that point to come and share that truth with him. We've been married over 31 years, known each other for 35, but let me tell you, it's still a reckoning to like, the trust was a big factor in this. The trust and he would say to me sometimes, I couldn't trust you with the truth because of the critique, because of the expectations, because of the differences.
Very true.
We had to stop calling it different and called it complementary.
Right. And
that was a different level of accountability. This is the Mondays. This is Terrence and Cheryl Moore. It's Mondays with the Moore. Y'all see how I pivoted that really quick because we are over our minutes, because I don't want to go back to that. I won't reframe why we were late.
And how the whole topic
No, it's always going to shift. I'm a Pisces. Okay, so and we're going to go with the flow on that.
I'm going to stop naming this stuff after a while.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Listen, we are on
share,
subscribe to our YouTube page, because it is Mondays with the Moore. As we get our footprints in the space, we'll be able to share some nuggets throughout the week. Thank you so much for being here. Be empowered and be in partnership with yourself first.
Check us out next Monday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you have any questions or thoughts, email us at terrenceandcheryl@gmail. That's TERENCEANDCHERYL@gmail.com. Don't forget to, again, check us out on YouTube and our individual Facebook pages. And you know what? We're going to tip on over to LinkedIn as well starting next week. So just in case we're your favorite platform, let everybody know we're going to be everywhere.
A-K.
Father,
AK.
we just going to pray out. Father, we just bless you. We just thank you for who you are. We thank you for just creating this space of partnership, relationship. We thank you for just opening the doors of truth and transparency. Thank you for just illuminating so much more within us. Thank you for allowing us and sharing how it is not wrong to be authentically us, that we bring the authenticity of who we are, how you created us wherever we are. And we are not going to be people pleasers. We're going to be you pleasers. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish, God. We thank you that you're showing us that it is best to serve ourselves first, that it's best to help ourselves first before we can help others. Until we're whole, we cannot help others be whole. Until we're authentic, we cannot make the environment of falseness and pretending be uncomfortable until we bring authenticity to the room. We are who you created us to be, and we are perfectly well with it. We thank you, God, for just creating us who you created us to be. And we love you for it. And we, most of all, we love us for it. And we thank you in Jesus' great name. Amen.
And if you have any questions, you can put those in the comments and we will bring those to the forefront to share with our growing community. And the last tidbit I want to say, love yourself, because I have learned you cannot give what you don't have.
Ooh, that's a powerful ending. We out.